Sup, everybody? It's Deesburg. Got another reaction. I'm about to react The Breakfast Club with Larry Alder. Man, I heard that he just cooked him so bad. Hey, who the heck freaking listens The Breakfast Club anymore, man? That thing is, it was cool having music and talk about the kind of stuff, but ever since freaking years now, just talking about political stuff and everything is all just one side. And they just, I don't know, just all the time. It just doesn't make no damn sense when they just always complaining all the damn time. To me, that's just my thing. And to me, I guess I just seen like little clips right now, so I want to watch this right here. Larry Alderman, he's this dude be cooking people though. I've been seeing some debates and I watch his whole little podcast, and not as well as his podcast, but whatever it is, when he be talking and everything, it's pretty dope when he talks about it. It's just being independent and talk about yourself and just just don't think. I mean, yeah, you could think, but just be more than you can. That's one thing I just seen when you talk about his way, and yeah. So let's just go into it now. All right.
The act of racism.
Oh,
have you
brother.
ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm just asking. You think you've ever
Well,
had
I'm acutely aware, Charlemagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you got to think a certain kind of way? I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
I'm not gonna say it upset me, just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like
Well,
that. But what I did say,
well, you just not talk about a nigga wake-up call.
Oh yeah. Oh man, here we go. Oh, he should. I mean, he should say something. You don't have to get mad, but it should be like, why you say that to me like that? I'm a person. I can say what I want. But nah, that is true. If you watch that one trying to make as the president, he did say that. That thing was crazy. And everybody just like, oh. One time, I went to go to a barbecue to my cousin's dad. But yeah, his dad and everything. And he was talking about that. And I'm like, oh, you see, like, he's like trying to say Donald Trump and everything. I'm like, well, what about Joe Biden? He said, if you don't go vote for him, you're not black. He's like, well, he was making a joke. No, he wasn't. He wasn't making no joke, man. He was really, if he was, it was like mockery on you so bad. So
and
yeah.
It seemed to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part to have a white guy come in here who also said, by the way, about Mitt Romney, because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seemed to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
I mean, for the record, I'm not a...
That's what I used to think, too, to me. When he said that, though, I was right there. I was like, whoa, how could people's now more mad about that? All the little tweets and stuff that other things happen, I understand, but it's not even that bad now, if you think about it. It doesn't hurt the country or something like that, but when you say something like that, oh, man, I don't know why you can't get, like, upset or say something back to it. I just don't understand why.
I didn't say you were.
Yeah, I think both.
I don't know what you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, but you are black.
Yeah,
and
because
to have a white guy come in here
man.
and tell you have to say think a certain kind of way, otherwise you quote ain't black. Wow.
How should I have replied to him? You think?
Yeah, like a
Well, I
man.
just now said, how dare you insult me and tell
Like a man. Like, hey, man, why you talk to me like that? It's like, dude, I could say, but I could vote for whoever I want. You say something like that or anything. The heck, not because I'm black, because I'm American. That's what it says. It's that easy like that. Look, he didn't say nothing. He's just like, oh, you just want to say nothing because he's scared. He's a pussy. That's what he is.
I mean, I think as a human being, let alone as a black person. I don't tell you how to think, Joe Biden. How dare you come in here and tell me how I should think? I'm going to vote for Donald Trump if I want to vote for Donald Trump. And if I want to vote for Donald Trump, it does not make me not black. 20% of black people, black men, as I said, voted for Donald Trump in 2020. Are they not black now? So only 80% of black men walking around are really black, 20% are not because they voted for Donald Trump. How insulting is that? How condescending is that?
I mean, you're probably right, but I didn't take it in that way.
I did.
As I said to him in that moment, it's just about me wanting something for my people, and I want to know what is he going to do for my people, and not only for my people now, how are you going to atone for the...
It's kind of like the same little thing too, right? Because I know multiple people that's Mexican people that's from Mexico and they move over here. And a lot of these people they believe of Donald Trump because they believe that you have to, do it the right way and all that kind of stuff. And if you come over here, you just work hard and all that kind of stuff. And that's one thing a lot of people, most of Mexican people, it's like one of them that's not really working like that. They just like to debate about it for nothing. And it's like, oh, he's just racist. It's like, okay, well, how? And then like me, I know multiple people that are Mexicans or Asians that they actually vote right there. I'm not gonna say those names, but they vote right there for Donald Trump or anything like that because those kind of ways right there. They didn't believe for Joe Biden. And yeah, man, it's crazy how it is now. You can't really. It's hard that people don't hit both sides though. People just like see the tweets and see this and everything, and it's just ridiculous, man. And let's go. Let's see if let me see what else on this day, right, bro.
Against cultural elites. It's nationalism based on
All
dominance.
right, let's go a little more, man. I think it goes like pretty cookie so bad. Okay, let's go right here. So yeah, man, to me, they should say something about the stuff he's saying right there. And look, they didn't even say nothing too. They should all like, yeah, I should have said something. I should have stand up for myself or say anything. But nah, man, soft.
To me, the number one reason that most people vote is because of the economy. We have had 40-year historic high in inflation. We've had gas prices that are now about 40%
For
more
real.
than what they were when Joe Biden.
Yeah, if you think about all those little drivers too, like Lyft drivers, but regular ones and stuff, man, if that's still going up, if you're going up right now, and my bad, I'm talking too fast. The gas is going up, and then if they're driving all the damn time, and then it's gonna be like not even gonna make that much money, man. And
came
it
into
goes all
office,
around to
and we
everybody
have
else
about
too. And
7
it's
million
just,
illegal aliens in our country, and the bulk of the suffering because of these illegal aliens will be borne by black people living in the inner city.
Would it
So
be fun to have-
those are three reasons alone not to vote for the Democratic Party and to vote for the Republican Party. And by the way, I'm not voting for a fishing buddy. It's not because I like
It's just
Trump
like
or
the
like him
right
personally.
person.
I'm voting for policies. And I don't really care whether or not his personality offends people and he does bad tweets. Maybe
yeah, that's what people are so emotional when they just hear little things he say, but it's not to be. Okay, if it does make you mad or get you emotional, and to me, if you think what he said, it's not even that bad. And then you just go to and you just gonna just believe the other person when that dude is even worse. See, when you really think about it, look what happened to our freaking country in just a couple years, man. Freaking gas went freaking high as hell. You got taxes went freaking up even more. It's like all the freaking crime went freaking up as hell. It's like, oh no, it's not because of like, oh, come on, you guys gotta freaking think. Hopefully next year, these next year or whatever right there, people start thinking all the time and not just
it might be better for our society
being
if he were more
emotional.
polite. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not voting for a fishing buddy. I'm voting for somebody to keep taxes low, keep regulations low, to secure the borders, and keep us out of unnecessary wars.
Would it be fun to have money in a fascist country, though? To be black and have money in a fascist country? Or to be anything other than a white male?
I don't agree this is a fascist country. It's always better to have money than not to have money.
All right. Anything else, Tess?
Here we go.
Well, just a simple question. Have the Republicans done anything that you disagree with? Just out of curiosity.
They spend too much. I think taxes are still too high. I think that there are a lot of Republicans that support things like minimum wages. And by the way, Milton Friedman, one of my favorite economists, said the minimum wage is perhaps the most anti-black law in the statute books, close quote. At one time, a black teenager was more likely to have a job than a white teenager until the minimum wage came along and kicked it up and up and up. So there are policies that the Republican Party supports, like minimum wage. Some of them do that I don't like. Also kinds of licensing, unnecessary licensing. I was at an Apple store a few years ago, and this black woman waited on me, and she was very sharp technically. I'm not very technically sharp, and I was very impressed. And I said, have you always been technically sharp? She goes, well, I'm not really. I'm just here because I want to earn enough money to get a license to cut hair. I said, black hair? She said, yes. I said, you don't know how to cut black hair already? I have black barbers in my family. Everybody learned how to cut hair on their own. She said, well, in California, you have to have a license to get, you have to have a license to open up a shop to cut hair. I said, how much does it cost? She said, $5,000. I said, you need to get a $5,000 license to learn how to do something you already know how to do? What is that? So a lot of the rules and regulations, Okay,
systems, man. It's hard to get around them systems, no matter how hard you work.
But the system applies to both blacks and whites too.
It
But
goes for
fair
both.
enough, those
It's not.
systems ought to be
Yeah,
struck
see
down.
that. See, yeah, that's true. It's not for just one side though. It's for everybody. It goes from like freaking Asian, like Hispanic, like anything else, white, black, everybody else right there. It's not just one side. So yeah, let's go. Let's go.
So there are lots of things Republicans do that I don't. That
Well,
I
it's
don't
not
happen to
just
like.
cutting hair. You know that. You know they have to train how to learn with diseases and to make sure your clippers are clean and make sure certain things that you have to follow certain protocols so that you can be a barber, so that you can make sure that the community's safe when you're doing these protocols.
Well, if there weren't government protocols, there'd be other protocols. For example, there's something called the Consumer Reports. That's not government, and it comes out and it talks about cars and what cars are good, cars are safe. If government didn't do these kinds of things, entrepreneurs would step in and they would have licensing. So there'd be a little sticker on the window when you go to a barber shop, and it would say, "I've been approved by so and so licensing board or organization."
Some of it's bullshit. 5,000 is too much though. But.
There are all sorts of things that we would do if the government was not doing them.
Do you have a black barber?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Actually, I have a black barber for 25, 30 years.
What kind of question is that?
He got cancer, and now
I guess,
the
man.
person
I
that
mean,
owns the
guess
shop, who's,
okay, great.
Latina, cuts my hair.
Okay. I do want to ask you one final question.
That's like if I came over here, like, hey, so you go to a barber shop right there to get your hair right there. Like that's a stupid question to me. Like what the hell? If he said white, oh, so what? I don't know. That's what I'm just thinking is trying to put something in it so it can just make it emotional, or him trying to be like, oh, you're not with the black people side. That's what I'm thinking. He's trying to come that kind of way.
When do you think systemic racism ended? Since you said it don't exist anymore, when did it end?
I can't come up with a specific time, but Civil Rights
Neither
Act.
can we.
Civil Rights Act of 1964, Brown versus Board of Education, the loving.
I'm gonna go a little more, man.
Stop the nonsense that America remains systemically racist. And for 8 years, in my humble opinion, he played race card after race card after race card. So when he entered the Oval Office, both blacks and whites thought race relations would get better. When he left, both blacks and whites thought they got worse. Why? Because he did things like the Cambridge police acted stupidly when they didn't. If I had a son, he looked like Trayvon. When what happened to Trayvon had nothing to do with his race. He embraced Black Lives Matter. He invited Al Sharpton in the White House over 70 times. He said that racism is in America's DNA. He said all sorts of things so that when he left, both blacks and whites thought race relations got worse.
Right, but sir, this is where and we can just agree to disagree because you're mixing race relations and
Hey, man, how come they give this girl a job, or how come she does this from last time to the other guy? He's trying to be. He has like candidate and trying to go right there for the president. Was it last month? And she would not let him finish his question, and she just no, but I'm not talking about this. Let's see if she does it again, man. She's just
and voters, what voters decided to do, who might just be very good people that decided to elect a black man, confusing with.
Oh yeah, that's what she said last time. She was all like, what did she say last time? Like, oh, when I was in 4th grade, this one teacher, he used to always, I forgot, like snatch my stuff right there, and so I started talking to the principal, and I just made it right there. So what have you did? It's like, man, who cares what you did in freaking 3rd grade, 4th grade? What the hell? Like, it wasn't a big deal. Nobody probably don't even remember about that. They're just probably thinking like, oh, this girl is freaking dumb. What the hell, this little kid? Like, probably went to the mom and dad, like, hey, this is one girl right here. She was crying right there just because the teacher just took his paper right now. She was crying. And like, remember she saying last time. Let's see what she does now.
And those are just two totally different things. And it's okay if we just agree to disagree. I'm talking about structures, not what voters did, or voters wanted to see better race relations. We're talking about structures, the same structures that you referenced several times that have also spited you. So that's all
Joe Biden, for example, when Georgia reformed its law, said it was worse than Jim Crow. It's Jim Ego. More blacks voted in Georgia than ever before. The percentage of blacks increased. If the structure, how is it that the structure did not stop black people from voting in Georgia?
Well, I'm not talking about voting, sir. I'm talking about, and just to be fair.
Then what are you talking about then? Because you have to vote to a person or vote to end those things for it to, whatever it goes into, right? It don't just come from nothing. You have to vote.
I think Joe Biden and what Joe Biden has did to African Americans, particularly with the war on drugs, was one of the worst things that actually happened to Black people. Just to put that on the record, he too was a part of this system.
Yeah, that and everybody else too. It was freaking man. I have families too that's Mexican, Filipinos, and other ones too. That's just my family because that's my mom's side. Everybody's mixed Mexican, Filipino, and people have drugs right there that just 80s and early 90s and stuff, and it's just really. I seen so many. I seen funerals from my older cousins and other people with their friends and everything when they're in their 40s, 50 years old because drug problems, and then they just their freaking heart just doesn't even like work no more. It's just all bad. It's all bad. So it goes
System
from
that I'm talking
everybody
about,
too.
Democrats as well.
It just is
I just
crack
try to
and all
stay
that other
balanced to
stuff
say that
just
that same system
changed
goes
everything in a bad
applies on
way.
both sides. Democrats and Republicans helped with mass incarceration. Joe Biden led it, wrote it. So we have no problem. Or I have no
Well,
problem condemning him as a Democrat for what he's done. I'm just talking about institutions versus relations are just two totally different things, and that's just where we,
well,
just disagree with that, and that's okay.
well, we didn't really get into mass incarceration, but most people who are behind bars because they committed a violent crime against somebody else. And often the black people who are behind bars committed a violent crime against another black person.
Well, when I'm talking about mass incarceration, I'm not talking about violent crimes. I'm talking about nonviolent crimes, particularly the war on drugs. I was very clear in what I said.
I agree with you that I believe that the drug problem should be dealt with as a health problem rather than a criminal justice problem. But most people are not behind bars for using drugs or for dealing drugs. They're behind bars for having committed a violent act against another person.
Sure, but that wasn't what I was talking about. I was very clear when I talked about Joe Biden writing the crime bill
Right.
and mass incarceration with war on drugs to nonviolent offenders. So
Right.
that's a different conversation. You're weaving the two together. So we just have a disagreement on institutions versus race relations, and that's okay.
Well, in order for you to go to jail, you have to commit a crime.
Yeah.
You walk down the street,
Not always when you're black in America.
Ah, here we go. Here we go. It's gonna start now. Here we go. Nothing happens. Just comes right there. Yeah, a lot of people goes. Okay, look, man. I don't know how different states is at. You don't understand how it is where I live. There are way more people that's Hispanic inside prison where I live. I'm talking about everything: jail, prison, all that kind of stuff. People that goes get murdered, all that. It's all getting it's worse. It's even like double, triple people right there. So I don't know. I don't know how it is. This is like East Coast, so I'm not sure how really. I don't know really all that kind of stuff right there. But it's just I always put this place. Oh no, it's just black thing right there. Now come on, man. It's like it just. Stop that stuff. It's just
Well, where are the
it's
class
just
action
freaking
lawsuits?
ridiculous.
We
All
have
the
all
time.
these black lawyers. Many black people have gone to law.
And then at the same time, if you do it though, most of the time, I think what it is though, you have to be able to. I mean, if you have a good lawyer or if you do that, most of the times I think people don't have that. If you know what I mean.
School. Where are the
Like
class
you have the
action
regular
lawsuits
DA,
claiming
not
that
DA,
a
but
bunch
the-
of people are behind bars illegally, wrongfully? Where are they?
So you think everybody that's behind
I didn't
bars
say
is
that.
behind
I,
bars
I didn't say that.
is a crime?
Why don't you answer my question? Where are the class action lawsuits?
Well, you got need money to do class
You
action
have
lawsuits.
you
They
have
ain't
you've
giving
had
you
a
information.
you've had a black attorney general, Eric Holder. You had back-to-back black attorneys general, Eric Holder and then Loretta Lynch. Why didn't they release a whole bunch of people who are illegally behind bars? Why didn't they do that? You had a black president.
And I
And you had a black president.
criticized them as well. Went on record because actually you're right. He lied and said that he was going to fix the crack cocaine disparity. So I went on record. You're right. And guess what? Guess who he works for? The system. So he's just a black face that works for the system at the time. So again, we just disagree on systems and institutions versus black faces in high places.
Well, the disparity has been rectified. Now you go to jail for dealing powder as you do for dealing crack. And at one time there was a
No,
disparity.
you go to jail, but the ratio's not the same.
Well, because the dealers are not the same. For example,
No.
there are more white people behind bars for drunk driving than there are black people. There are certain
No,
categories
we're
of crime
talking
that
about
whites
drugs,
commit.
Mr. Elder. You're talking
Depends
about
depends on the
crack
drug.
cocaine, then you go to
More
drinking.
whites are behind bars for meth than
You're
blacks
just
are.
going all over the place, sir. We were talking about it's very clear.
This is kind of like watching freaking Ti against what's his name freaking Kenneth Owens. Feels like that. T.I. and he's Candace Owens.
You said drugs. It
Like,
depends on the
just making
category
sure
of
how
drug. It
dumb you're
depends on the
gonna get. Just let
category
her
of
just
drugs.
listen to what
More
she's
whites are
saying.
involved in meth
Right,
than
but
blacks.
I gave you the category that I wanted to talk about, and you start talking about
Crack
drinking. You're just all over the
cocaine.
place, Mr. Elder, but it's okay. I
More
get it.
more blacks
It's
are
okay.
involved in crack cocaine. More whites are involved in powder. More whites are involved in meth than blacks. Depends on the category of the drug you're talking
Right,
about.
and I was talking about a very clear category, and I gave you, I told you where I just criticized the black man who was in charge, and you skipped over that and went right to talking about drunk driving.
Larry.
So again, so sir,
Right.
I have no
He
problem
said
with criticizing black
right.
Democrats. We do that. Charlemagne does that all the time. It's just the imbalance of understanding that even black faces in high places, even including yours.
If you don't like how it is, I'm telling you, you have the right to get out the country and go somebody else. But she won't do that. Just to be real, if it's all white about it, she's saying, why don't you go wherever you want to? That makes you happy instead for crying about this all the time.
And
Yeah.
Democrats, Republicans, just being fair across the board. That's all.
Well,
cocaine do you think it
that
was
to
in
me,
the
that
White
to me,
House,
that to
Larry?
me, basically is no different than what Joe Biden just did with Charlemagne, which is to tell me as a black person I got to think a certain kind of way, otherwise I'm not
And
black.
I didn't like that either.
Well, you just did
I
it.
didn't like that either.
You just did
I
it. You
didn't
call
like
me a
that
black
either.
face as if I'm supposed to think a certain kind of way.
No,
You
I
just
said
did it.
blackface. I said blackface in high places. I said they're everywhere. You're a blackface. You're in a high place. You're running for president of the United States. That's a high place. And you are a blackface, correct? I said so. There's blackface in high places on both sides. So it's just about being fair for me on both sides. I've mentioned
I
three
agree.
or four Democrats.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mentioned several Democrats that I have a problem with. Several, including Joe Biden. So you don't have to sell us on that. We get that. I'm just saying it also happens on the Republican side. That's all. And black conservatives agree with a lot of your messages, Mr. Elder. But when you're not balanced across the board, it just kind of lands flat. That's all.
Whose cocaine do you think it was in the White House? Since we're talking about drugs.
I have no idea. All
Yeah, probably don't really
I
know.
know is that it seems to me it's to be scary that that's
1 second, 1 second.
Secret Service has closed the investigation without identifying a suspect. What other kind of stuff goes in and out of the White House without anybody knowing about it? But I have no idea. I just think it's bizarre that the investigation all of a sudden got closed that fast.
And you think criminal charges should be brought against President Biden, right?
I think there certainly should be an investigation about the pay-for-play stuff that we're hearing. The IRS whistleblowers are saying that they were told to stand down in their investigation. I think there's a double standard going on, as I said earlier. For example, Donald Trump has been indicted for document possession. There
Like
is a
hella
special
times.
counsel investigating Joe Biden for
It's
document.
like he was right when he started as the president in like a month or something hella fast. It was like months. It was so fast, like damn. And it was all right there on CNN and ABC and see everything. It's like, oh man, they're trying to impeach him already. Hey, look over there. Oh, let's do it. Oh, so fast. And nothing there happened for all 4 years. That was
possession.
crazy.
But his defenders are saying, well, Joe Biden, unlike Donald Trump, turned over the
Can't
documents
believe all, like, the
readily
media
when they
all
were
the time
found
now,
out to
man.
have them. And if that's the case, why is the investigation still taking so long?
Tell them how they can support your campaign.
LarryElder.com. I need $1 from 40,000 individuals. Even
All right. Interesting. Really, really, really interesting, man. That was cool. Oh, man. Really good debate, I guess, in a way. You just hear one side. It's just trying to say one thing. Oh, it was so hard. You don't understand. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, the system is stopping me in a way. Oh, yes. You don't want to understand. Oh, you won't. And then the other side, he just like, look, man, you just got to just, you got to just do your thing. Stop complaining and just push it. You can do what you want to. Just push yourself and believe yourself. Don't just, oh my goodness, it's crazy about this, man, crazy. Yeah, so I just want to ask y'all inside the comments, what you guys think about this? All right, what you guys think about it? This is like this is hot right now. There's people watching all that kind of stuff. So hit me in the comments, all right? Okay, all right, man. Have a great day. Late.